Biopal. Intermix.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I got the stream going, but I don't have the sound going, so I wasn't too sure if there was any sound or not. People are saying that they heard some chat now, or the sound.
All right, technical difficulties. Are we back? Are we live? Can people hear me? Is everything okay now? We need input. Don't worry, I'll cut this part out. You can hear me? All right, Cagy.
Yo.
All right, give us some words. I'm gonna cut all this part out from the actual podcast part of the episode. So just give us some words. Can everyone hear Cagy?
I will give you words in a horrible sentence.
That's fine. Just keep it appropriate.
Yeah, just horrible, misconstructed sentences. That's all I've got.
All right, perfect.
I'm a little bit louder. Uh-oh.
That's okay. That just means that you're louder than I am, which is fine. There's an easy fix for that, and that means I just have to move closer to my microphone because my microphone setup is a little wonky. All right, hold on. We're gonna start this over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's me. That's me doing an audio test for when I check the fucking audio back on this later, so I can cut all this shit out. Anyways, hi everyone. Hello. Welcome to episode 11 of Some Random. I am your host, Sir Watcher Flash, and we definitely did not start this episode off with audio issues, and now I can't talk. Son of a bitch. Anyways, today my guest with me, you would know him from Twitch as Cagy87. You would know him on Twitter as @CagyAries. Cagy, tell everyone hello. Hi.
I will say hello and hi.
Excellent.
Welcome. Or thanks for having me, I guess, is more appropriate.
Yeah, well, hey, look, that's all right. However you want to introduce yourself. Am I saying it right, Cagy? Because that's how I've always heard it, so that's how I say it.
Yeah, that's how I pronounce that, so my friends pronounce it, so that's how we're going with it.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, Cagy, now that you're here, why don't you tell everyone, who the hell are you?
Who the hell am I? Well, Cagy87, real name Kevin, we'll give you that. Up here in Toronto, Ontario, the Great Wide North of Canada. That's about it. That's who I am. I guess Alex Main, if you want to get into Street Fighter 5, if we're going that way, but...
Yeah, that's all right. Look, whatever you want to spill out the details, you're more than welcome to put out whatever you want to. I won't stop you.
I doubt you will.
Oh, man. Well, no, that's good. I've known you for about a good year now, through Twitch streams and stuff like that, a little back and forth, and recently we got to know each other a little bit better. But yeah, no, I know you mostly from Street Fighter 5 and playing together there. But what got you started in fighting games? Was Street Fighter 5 your first, or have you been playing for a while?
Well, if you want to go back to, first fighting game, I think a lot of people would agree Street Fighter 2. For me, SNES, I lived in the Boons originally in Canada, so we didn't have an easy access to any arcade or anything, so I had whatever came to the SNES and I could rent or own at the time. But after that, Killer Instinct Gold was my next vice for the N64, also on the Rare Replay. I was when I kind of really started learning combos, knowing fighting games a little bit more. Then huge dry spell. I guess for everyone, I guess that's the dark ages of fighting games, early 2000s, late 90s. And when Street Fighter 4 came out, got my hands on that, fell in love with fighting games again, fell out. Now, let's say 2017, started watching the Super Couch Fighters, Brad Bayonne, Shaper Stories on Twitch.
Yep.
Just fell in love with it. Mostly because I'm mostly a first-person shooter gamer. But we were having problems just sometimes people act dumb or they're not doing what we have to do in the game, and it was getting frustrating. And then watching the Couch Fighters, Brett had said something that stuck with me. It's with a fighting game, there is no team. It's what you do with your opponent. And I just needed a change, and I got into Street Fighter 5, and I was watching his thing, doing that. and that's how I got sucked into five. That's where I'm at right now.
Hey, I look, it's beautiful, right? And like that is the most important part of fighting games is like you don't have anyone to blame but yourself at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Like win, lose, or draw, like it's on you, and that's the beauty of fighting games. But yeah, man. Well, look, I'm happy that you're in the fighting game community again. I'm happy that your love has been reignited, and I've said this multiple times, but I think 60% of my guests have some through line with Super Couch Fighters somewhere. They secretly permeate to all areas of the FGC.
Yeah, from anyone I've seen on your stream, absolutely. Like, everyone I've seen from here is usually over Brett when he's doing his thing. Some people, even from, I think I've gotten a few hits other than yourself on Mike Too Strong stream. Like, there's a few people who like seen Brett, and that's helped like the gateway drug to fighting games.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they do a really good job, and I think Brett has done a really good job creating a culture. Like there are so many people that have come up from learning from him and from watching his streams and from watching him play fighting games and talking with him that have come out of his tutelage, like ready to learn and willing to adapt to fighting games more than you see the average person who watches some other streamers who are more. I don't want to give names and sound like a dickhead, but you know there are definitely streamers out there who make it a point to get mad over nothing, and that's kind of their shtick. To be upset and to come from Brett's side, where he, you know, for the most part, comes very even keeled and level headed at most things. It's very nice and refreshing to see people learn from that and to adapt to situations and to learn from situations instead of immediately blaming outside forces that they can't control.
Absolutely, and even some higher echelon. I couldn't name anyone because I don't know a lot of people. I'm sure there are some higher echelon fighters out there would who don't care about teaching, who would rather just be like, "Oh, I'm the best." I'm not saying there's a lot. I don't even know who they would be, but I'm sure those people would be out there. And even if you like were to ask them a question, would maybe not be so receptive as some other people in the community.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard, right? Like no. It's hard to force that role on someone to be a teacher, and like you know, but at a certain point, you have to take it upon yourself when you realize that you've become a pillar of the community, you've become this highly known player, where you have to take it upon yourself to go, okay, like this worked for me, but what are the negative aspects of what happened with me or that I've done that I can change for the future, because this can't be the path for everyone, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's very important for people at the top to realize, like, they might have blazed a path there, but that path has thorns, and how do we clear those thorns out for the next generation of fighters?
Exactly. That's the one thing I've taken away from watching your stream, watching Brett's, even Mike, is that instead of bashing people on what they're doing, or like, how, why would you do that? I find it better personally, and as a community, be like, hey man, like you were doing this a lot, maybe don't try it so often, or like, be more constructive criticism as opposed to just slamming people, because I've been in that spot where you just get slammed for anything you do and it's just not fun, then you just don't want to play, right, and you're gone, and that's not good for anyone.
Yeah. The tough love works to a point, but everyone learns differently and everyone takes that advice differently. You know, you can't use the same approach with everyone.
Absolutely.
I'm usually pretty, like, I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers, but I know a decent amount. And I usually try to like be very constructive with it. The only time that I've recently gotten aggressive with someone was with the marvelous Iggy. And I love him. He knows that I love him. But we did a first to 10 recently, and I streamed it, and I was very hard on him. I was like, we've done this 3 times now. You're doing the same shit, and you're not learning. Like we're gonna drill this shit out of you. I swear to God. And but that dude knows that I love him in my heart, and he takes criticism really well. So I'm happy that he was able to take it and learn from it. And he recently did really well. Me and him teamed up with Banjo, a Super Diamond Colleen player for Street Fighter V, and we played in the Reddit 3v3 tournament. And I think Iggy held his own against some master level and diamond level players. I think he really did well for being a super silver player. I think he did really well.
That's good.
Shout outs to Iggy.
I mean, that's the thing too. Even with certain tutelage, because I've done some things where like I've gone to Battle Lounge and looked for the diamond for the masters, first to three, first to five, whatever, and being surprised, like seeing what I can get away with, and then seeing what I can get away with, and even taking maybe not matches, but a round makes me go, oh, they're not invincible. I just have to learn where it's my turn, where it's not my turn, what's punishable, what's safe.
Right. And that's super important. Yeah. It helps too when you find those people and you can like create a direct line with them. Like, hey, like, usually like if I get beat by somebody that's higher ranked than me and I don't know them, I'll usually I'll find them on Twitter or Discord or somewhere, and I'm like, hey man, good games, but like, what happened there? Like, what could I fix? And
yeah,
that's important too. Is like not only like see what you can do and what you can get away with, but to make sure that you go out and like seek that advice.
Yeah, I remember I was on a Reddit tournament a few weeks ago, and at the time I was playing Vega, just really trying to figure out who I wanted to play. And I took a few rounds off this diamond, I think it's a Colleen or something like that. And he messaged me in the Discord later, it's like, hey man, you're doing pretty good. You took a few rounds off me, your footsies were good. You just gotta keep on. I'm like, hey, all right, I'm doing something right at least. I got some feedback, and it was really good to hear that.
No, that's awesome. That makes me happy because I know for the most part, most of the guys in the Reddit tournament are super fucking solid, and those guys are usually very good teachers.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that someone reached out to you and was super chill about it. But no, that's good, man. Well, I'm happy that you got your start somewhere from someone that I believe in. From the Super Couch Fighter side, those things are awesome.
And Brett we trust.
Yeah, exactly. And Brett we trust. He was fucking super solid. It sounds like we have a little bit of echo on your side. I tried to clear up some things. Does that help in the chat? Everyone is that doing a little bit better? If not,
I hope I don't have to figure something out because I'm horrible with technology.
No. Yeah, no. It's definitely not on your end. You sound fine on mine, and I think it's just the recording end of my side. So.
Gotcha.
I will try to figure it out. No worries. But let me know, everyone in the chat, how much I'm fucking this up. So you talked about how you went to first-person shooters for a while. You bounced around there. Finally came back to fighting games. But what got your start in video games in the first place? What was the birthplace of video games for Cagy?
We gotta go way back to the not SNES, the NES. Super Mario Bros. / Duck Hunter cartridge was pretty much the first thing I ever played, and then I think like it wasn't too much longer after that because I was really young at the time. The Super Mario World 3 came out, and that was such. I think I won't say an important part of my life, but it's something that our family will like on a Friday night. It'd be like mom or like myself and my dad versus my sister and my mom. Like my dad and I were Mario, sister and mom were Luigi, and we try to beat each other in Mario World 3 or Super Mario World, or it was like kids versus adults. And it was just, I guess, the first time we were like an air quote community gaming something or other that we were doing. It was pretty cool. But my first introduction to games very early, NES with the Super Mario series there.
Oh yeah, man, I spent a lot of my life learning video games on that console. Don't you worry. My family was super big into the Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers cartridge, so we got all into that one. Don't you worry, that shit was the best back in the day. That one, Bayou Billy was another one that I played a lot. Metroid, like all the classics, right? Like Zelda. You ever play Yoshi on the NES?
Which one?
Okay, so it's a game called Just Yoshi. And every time I bring this up, everyone is very confused. So it's all right if no one knows what the hell this game is. So it's a game where you play as Mario, and you have dinner plates on your hands, and you spin it kind of like Dr. Mario. You're like at the bottom spinning these bases of plates, trying to match enemies together to make them disappear. And every now and then
you get so many enemies in a row. And you put the top part of the egg on the bottom part, and you get points for it, right?
Yeah. You can stack like a bottom part of an egg, and then like enemies in between, and then like an egg on top, and it comes down and like makes a big Yoshi that's like fat with wings. Yes. Okay.
I know that game. Didn't remember the title of it, but I definitely have played that game.
Yeah, that game is just called Yoshi, and it is the fucking best. I love that game.
It's like Dr. Mario on a weird kind of steroids, which should never be released to the public.
Yeah, but fortunately for me, it is, and I love that goddamn game. Oh, excellent. All right, well, at least someone out there knows what it is, and I'm not just a crazy person.
Yeah, no, or we're both just crazy people.
That's
using
possible
the same
too.
Drugs.
That's possible too. Oh no, I enjoy hearing people that grew up with an NES because it's always like everyone's always played the classics, right? Like Super Mario Brothers and Zelda and Metroid,
Yeah.
and then you sprinkle in like some other weird ones. But then there's always like everyone always has like one weird fucking game for the NES that no one else has played.
Like I don't. Other than that, I don't know if there's any outlandish ones that I've played.
Oh damn it! You finally broke my theory. No Battletoads.
I have no. Okay, Battletoads. Here's the thing, though. This is a generation gap I'm getting to.
Okay.
Because you and I are about the same age. I was born in 87. I imagine you're somewhere around the same.
Yep, I was born in
area.
90. My wife was 86.
Okay, so yeah, so you're only 3 years younger than me.
Yeah.
But we were at that age where when that stuff came out, we were there for it. You get people born mid 90s, late 90s. There's already the N64. That's their starting console.
Right.
So all those people don't know this stuff like we did.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Yeah, man, because like
what's the other one? Excite Bike, I think, is the other one for the NES.
Yeah, Excite Bike was the shit. As soon as I found out that you can make custom courses in Excite Bike,
oh man,
game changer. I was never good at that game. I'd always overheat my fucking bike. There's like
there's a track in Mario World for the Switch, or no, Mario Kart for the Switch, and it's a Excite Bike track.
Yes, and that course is the best course in Mario Kart 8. Fucking
it is.
Fight me.
Hands down. Hands down. No, we've won.
Yeah.
It's already there. We're good.
Yeah, the fucking dirt track is the best. The Excite Bike dirt track is the best track in Mario Kart 8. Oh my gosh.
Getting the boost.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. There's something simplistic about that course, where like the shallow bumps that like you know you can do the little boost like trick move like when you get air in Mario Kart 8. So it's like there's enough of those to like provide a distinct advantage for people that can time that right, but the simplicity of the course makes it so you really have to tighten your shit down to make that happen. Oh, fucking what a great level.
Best score of Mario 64, I'm just reading in the chat here, has to be a Wario's Raceway, wherever it was, the off-road dirt track.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a solid one. And then Yoshi's Mountain, that's another one too.
No, that was wrong.
No, it's good. That's a good one. That's a good one because it's fucking whack. But let me tell you, Mario Kart 64 isn't even the best kart racer on the N64. Diddy Kong Racing is far and away fucking superior to Mario Kart in every possible way. I'll hear no arguments on this.
I will not argue that with you, only because I didn't really play a lot of it, so I don't really have a good, no, you're wrong.
That's fair.
I think I can't say you're wrong if I haven't played the game, really.
That's alright. I understand. Diddy Kong Racing is far and away the best. If Mario Kart introduced the ability to choose whether or not you could fly a car or a plane or a hovercraft instead of just your cart, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, they never did that because they're cowards. And
well, you have to think about this too. Whenever I see a game come out, you go, "Oh, well, this game is clearly better than that game." It's like, yeah, but without Mario Kart, would we have ever had Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah, well, no, probably not. To be fair, probably not.
Yeah.
And
so it's always one of those take and give kind of situations.
Yeah. Ancient Executioner says, "Do you risk it for the mountain jump shortcut?" Every time. Every time.
Cuba Beach? Yeah. Cuba Beach. You have to... It's not risking it. You're that good and you can nail it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
I'm nailing it every time.
That's the confidence you need to nail that jump every single time, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Listen, if you're playing Cuba, if you're not taking the shortcut, you're not trying to win. That's all there is to it. You're forfeiting the race.
And I'm pretty sure Ricky Bobby said it best. If you're not first, you're last.
Exactly.
That's all there is to it.
I almost recited a line from that movie that had been very inappropriate that we talked about earlier before the show.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't
I love that goddamn movie. That movie's so fucking funny.
It's too good.
That movie is one of those that like will always hit me in my funny spot. Talladega Nights is just excellent.
I haven't watched it in a while, and I want to. Just talking about it now.
We had a nacho fountain at the wedding. Oh, you should have been there. I'm a driver's wife, Ricky. I don't know any other lifestyle. Oh my god, that movie's excellent. Y'all don't need to hear me badly quote that movie though. Just go watch Talladega Nights.
Yeah, don't let us quote it. Go watch it. What are you doing? After the podcast and after you stream this, then go watch it.
After the podcast. Not right now. There's no reason to cut us out right now. You love us.
No.
So earlier, H.D. Executioner asked, has feedback or backseat coaching ever ruined a video game experience for you?
Yes. Hell yes. I guess maybe maybe not so much backseat coaching, but just a not understanding of the game where some people just already, like, I've come late to the party. Like, Soul Calibur 6 was one of them to me. I hadn't played Soul Calibur in ages. Tried to jump into that and literally rage quit. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is horrible. Also, I have had, I guess, some experiences in other games where some people, like, maybe the community is not so great. And it's actually one of the reasons why, like, on Xbox Live or whatever, I don't go in the public chat, because I'm so sick and tired of hearing all the negative feedback in that place. Like, there's not a good thing to be said ever, especially in the FPS community. Well, I shouldn't say especially, but in the FPS community, there's a lot of toxic feedback, and it really can bring you down. It can make you just go, I don't want to be here. But so far, for the most part, in the fighting game community that I've had so far, it's been pretty positive. I don't think in the fighting game community I've ever had someone coach me or backseat coach me or tell me something that I've been doing wrong where it was negative. They've always been like, hey, you should try this. I think maybe one or two times I think we've all gone the person in Street Fighter, they go like, you're going to Battle Lounge, or they're clearly a few levels higher than you, and they get you stunned, and they're about to get a perfect, and they start teabagging or something, or they taunt or something. I dare someone who hasn't had that happen to them, but that to me, that doesn't bother me as much as like someone who would just be like, it'd probably be more demoralizing if that person that then messaged me would be like, you're the worst player in the world, what are you doing here? But that has not happened in the fighting games for me yet.
Right. Yeah, by and large, the hate mail is generally, like, pretty rare, or stuff like that. You usually get someone that'll be like, if you beat someone, like, oh, like, the first to 10 me or something like that, which is fucking whack. Like, whatever, get out of here. But for the most part, like, with the exception of Mortal Kombat 11, but that lets you, like, public check with people, which is, like, the worst idea. And I know people argue for the inclusivity of public chat for fighting games so you can get to know people. But, like, if you want to get to know somebody, like, beat their ass. Or after they beat your ass, then send them a message like, hey, man, like, let's practice together or something like that. Then strike up a conversation. But I don't need to hear somebody playing fucking Scorpion, like, is freaking the fuck out when I block his 38th teleport in a row. Like, I don't need to hear it. That's why every time I play Mortal Kombat 11, I turn on party chat so that way I never hear anyone else but myself. So it's the only way to get around it. Terrible.
I haven't done MK11 online. I didn't even think about that as a thing, to be honest.
Oh,
I played story mode, and then I was like, man, this is going to be a lot of work, and I'm kind of into Street Fighter right now, so I'm just going to put this in the back burner.
Totally fair. I think I did a similar thing. I still play Mortal Kombat 11 online from time to time, but, like, rarely. But, like, I really enjoy those stories. So every single time that a Mortal Kombat or an Injustice, like, game comes out, me and the wife usually pick it up and we play through the story mode. Because they're generally acceptable stories. I'm not going to call them, like, great stories or good stories, but it's interesting to see what they do with the characters.
As far as fighting games as a whole, like, in the blanketing all fighting games storylines, I would say what the NetherRealm Studios have done with Injustice and the Mortal Kombat recently has been the best so far.
Yes. Which sucks, honestly. because those are, like, passable storylines that, like, they have a through line and they have, like, really cool moments, but for the most part, like, character development doesn't happen. They don't have arcs. There's just, like, a linear story for the most part, and anything that happens, like, it's all... Any path that could lead to anywhere else doesn't really go anywhere. It's just like these weird threads that are like tie themselves back into the main story, but ultimately have no consequence. End of the fucking story, right?
Yeah.
Which we can do so much better. But like the Street Fighter V story mode was poo-poo.
Oh god.
It is poo-poo.
we
is
don't
not
talk
good.
about the Street Fighter Five story because there wasn't one. It was an arcade when arcade came out, and everyone had their own little comics at the end of each arcade mode. That was your storyline. There was no other storyline. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And for the like, to be honest with you, I'm okay with arcade mode endings because I really enjoy getting those. I enjoy unlocking arcade mode endings, to see like what would happen, like if each different character won the tournament or did this thing, right? Like what are the alternate realities of the thing? But
Yeah.
I would like to have, the actual plot, like the canon plot of the game, like told to me or like explained to me or shown to me in some way. And I think with Street Fighter, it's very, very hard to do that because these characters are so ingrained, like, to us, as to who they are. And they came out in the 90s when, like, the idea of having a character's story and background wasn't really a thing for a fighting game, you know? That's why we still have, like, instead of actual fleshing out the characters, we just have, these are their likes and dislikes below their height and weight. As if that gives us, like, anything about a fucking character. Like, congratulations, like, Lucia loves noodles. Okay. Like,
I mean, I like them too, but
yeah, I like noodles too, but I'm not kicking fucking fire with my feet. Like, explain that shit. Like, how does Lucia do that?
yeah, that would be more an interesting flesh out of explaining more of the backgrounds of how they got their powers or how they became so powerful. I think Sagat's actual storyline almost explained that.
Yeah, like,
His-
Sagat as a character, and I know people have talked about this before, Sagat as a character has evolved from, like, a base nothing character who was just like, I'm this ultimate Muay Thai fighter. Ah, fuck, I got punched in the chest, and now I want to beat the shit out of Ryu. To realizing that, like, fighting is not the only thing, and he has this community to protect, and he's kind of gotten over that idea of revenge and, like, adapted to who he is as a person and all this stuff. And that's super cool. So maybe they can do that with the future. Like they can make Ryu like not a boring piece of fucking mayonnaise toast.
I mean, he's only been traveling the world looking for fights since 1992, or what is 87 when
Yeah.
the first one came out?
Yeah, and so when they were like,
Yeah.
well, he's still looking for fights, but now he has the Satsue no Hado. Like, fucking okay. Like that should have been taken care of in one game. Why are we doing the same storyline 15 years later?
Because
But-
it sells.
Yeah, I guess so. But like, all right. So let's say Street Fighter 6 comes out, right? And they're just
Okay.
like they go Street Fighter 3 with it. They say fuck it, all new characters, like some returning characters, but fringe returning characters. You know, we'll have Alex and Abigail, and that's it. Then like all new characters. It's very important to have Abigail in there.
I don't see why Abigail would have to be in there. He wasn't in 3. If anything, Hugo would replace him, I think.
Well, here's
I'm saying that
my
mostly
thoughts.
to anger you, but yes.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so here's the thing: is that Abigail wasn't in 3 because he was busy taking care of his shop, and he's becoming a businessman. He's straight laced now, right? I'm writing the whole Street Fighter 6 story, but then
Okay.
in Street Fighter 6, Abigail, who's now a reformed man, runs a community center, right, for these youths who are these wayward youths that are on the street. And he's teaching them to be better, and he's going, look what I built for myself. And Abigail's this big mountain of the man that everyone's like, oh my gosh, he's a pillar of the community. He's excellent. He's turned his life around. And, oh my God. And so now, like, yep, sorry, we lost me for a second. Audio cues. So Abigail does all these things now, right? And all these kids are in trouble. So Mel, Ken's kid, is in trouble, right? Because he's so sick of his dad touring around the world being a fighter that he doesn't want to be like his dad. And he rejects his dad, and he wants to fight to finally have feeling because his dad is always gone. And like we have stories like that where fucking like Sakura and Ryu have a baby or something like that, and the kid's a teenager. And Sakura's like, I don't want our kids to fight, and Ryu is like, I don't want our kids to fight. I want them to know discipline. And that kid is like, I want to get better to make my dad happy, and I have to hide it from my mom. So like a secretive fighter and shit like that, right? Like there are so many ways that we can push forward with fighting game storylines, but we kind of, like Kylo Ren says, abandon the past, kill it if you have to. Fucking, we have to make fighting game stories better. Sorry, that's my long-winded rant on things I just want to see.
I liked it, but it just seemed like we were getting like the Tiny Toon Adventures of Street Fighter at that point.
Yeah. Oh, look, I know, like, but we can bring in other characters. That's fine. We don't need to go all kids. But eventually, with these kids, you need to shit or get off the pot. Like either these kids grow up and become fighters, or they grow up and they don't become fighters. But we need to get rid of these fucking characters and bring in new blood.
Agreed.
But bring back Abigail.
On the topic of a potential Street Fighter 6, and you're saying of limited cast, who would you like? Hey, so we started new, mostly like what they do with Street Fighter 3. Like, only have your staples. Who would they be?
Okay, so if we're bringing back characters for Street Fighter 6,
they have to be returning. They have to be mainstays.
They have to be returning, and they have to be mainstays. Okay, Zangief is done. He's not in. We'll go.
Agreed. Yeah.
We'll go through the original 8 first, and then we'll go. So Zangief is done. I think it would be in Street Fighter 5. I think it would have been really cool if, and I believe Brett has talked about this, and I know a couple other people have talked about this. It would have been really cool in Street Fighter 5. This is so many years later, and we have the skin for old Ryu and shit, right? If Zangief would have been like, my body is failing me. I'm getting older now. I have to pass the torch on to someone else. Like, pass the torch finally on to Mika, where Mika is the next muscle spirit. Not iron.
Yeah.
The next muscle spirit, like, torch holder, right? So I think in Street Fighter 6, Zangief just has, like, a mentor role. And maybe he has, maybe Mika is, like, starting to get older. So maybe they have a protege wrestler who they've started teaching. So, like, we can have one of those. But Zangief is, like, he's in a wheelchair from years of fucking pills and weightlifting that broke his back.
Flexing.
Yeah, just
constantly flexing towards people, just crippled them.
And finally his L5 and L4 vertebrae snapped and he's in a wheelchair. He can't do it anymore. So he's out. E Honda finally retires, and he's just working out a hot tub now, so that's just done. Ryu retires to go sleep under a tree because that's the most interesting thing he's done in 30 years.
Too true.
Dude, Ken, fucking, I don't know. Maybe Ken can come back. I might be alright with Ken coming back as like an old man. But like
I think one Shoto from the original would have to return, and it's not Akuma, but yes, I think a Shoto would have to return.
Yeah. Maybe it's Ken, and after years of not being able to properly throw fireballs like Ryu does, like his aren't as strong, maybe we just incorporate, like we make him like the Omega version of him from Street Fighter 4, and now he throws Hadokens from his feet, and like then they can go upwards like Sakura's and shit like that. Like that's him now. Like he's just fully, like he's just that person now. Now he's strictly a kickboxer who throws Hadokens with his feet. And like he's just kind of old, and like his body's not doing so well. But like we'll bring him back. Okay, so we got so Guile. Guile is still down backing until the end of time. So Guile's in.
Retired. He's no.
Oh, he's retired. Okay, he's retired.
He's gone. He's retired. He's not coming back. He's too many jet plane accidents or something. PTSD. We'll figure it out.
He held down back for so long that when he finally got up, his leg fell asleep and he fell over and cracked his neck, and now he's in a wheelchair too.
Yeah, it's what happens when you do that.
Yeah,
science actually.
So maybe Remy. Remy comes back in Guile's stead. Remy can come back. I like Remy.
All right.
I wish Remy didn't suck because I like Remy.
Yeah, he had a very interesting style, and it was very cool to see. Like he did sonic booms, but then he had that upper or lower sonic boom. Like that's pretty neat. It's like Sagat and Guile in one.
Right. So yeah, maybe Remy can come back, and like Remy is like no longer like the acid street punk that he was in 3. Like maybe he wants to find the creator of the sonic booms, and Guile is leading him down a path now that will like now he has proper sonic booms that can bounce off the ground or some shit. With real mix-ups.
Only if it's not only old Guile, but like old Guile and Zombie Charlie are just like hiding away in a cave.
Oh yeah,
to escape the world.
That's fine. That's fair.
They're just done with it all.
Yeah, I'm alright with that. Chun-Li is now a retired police officer. She's out of the game because I'm tired of her.
Yep.
Who else do we have now? Of the 8, so we've done Ryu, Ken, Guile.
Blanca. He's lost in the jungle. He's gone. I
Uh,
don't get me wrong. Blanca was the first character I ever played in this Street Fighter 2.
yeah, me
I
too.
was excited. I was excited when he came for 5. I just really wish they didn't make him as stupid as he is, because from Street Fighter 2, you don't really know. There's no voice acting. He seemed like a cool beast man, and then as soon as they started bringing him into the newer ages, he just kind of became dumb.
He's like he's like a helpless character almost,
Yeah.
like a beast in a man's body, and it's weird because they go between like he's this helpless like monster looking for purpose in the world and looking for his mama to like I'm the strongest beast in the jungle. Like fucking pick one. Like I'm alright with having like a multi-layered character who's like puts on a front that he's the strongest in the jungle, but inside he's weak, stuff like that. But y'all aren't really doing that. You're doing like Mama, where are you? But then also like you'll never survive in the heart of the jungle. Like fuck off. Like pick one.
Yeah.
Or do it better.
Or that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how about instead of Blanca lost in the jungle, Blanca Chan takes off and he's now a worldwide mogul and he doesn't have to fight anymore.
I accept that. I forgot about that horrible storyline.
He's just jetting across the world now. It's super famous.
Everyone loves Blanca-chan.
Is there anyone else from the original 8 that I'm forgetting? We got Ryu, Ken, Guile, Zangief, Chun-Li.
Dalsim.
Dalsim's dead.
Yeah,
he's been
too much yoga and too much fire. There was an accident at like a circus or something, and it went.
But he's at this point he's like 200 years old. Just like let the man peacefully pass away.
Let him join Buddha or whichever religion he believes in.
Yeah, like, well, just let him finally ascend. He's above the mortal plane. So we have Ken. Ken is really the only one that comes back from the originals.
Agreed. Yep.
So we have Ken. We have Zangief's protege. We have Remy.
So we had Remy, Ken, Armika. Yep. So I guess 4 because they kind of had 4 and 3 from like old.
Yeah. We won't spend too much more time on this because I'm sure we're boring everyone else to shit.
Yeah.
So one of the dolls comes back. The one that has the laptop, she can come back. We'll throw like 2 dolls in there, like each a little bit different from each other, but kind of echo fighters from each other. Abigail's in there, obviously. Fang is in there. Urian's in there.
Fang?
Yeah.
Fong. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, either way, yeah.
Yeah. I think Fong has to be in there because in the Udon comics, Fong has a very important part in the storyline that takes place after 3.
Okay.
And like the Udon comics are not canonical, but some of the storylines that they have created have interwoven themselves within the actual Street Fighter lore. So
that is fair enough then.
So Fong can come back. I think Gil comes back. Makoto comes back, and
Colleen has to.
Colleen comes back. Yep. And Hakan can come back. Hakan is oiled up forever. That skin's never getting dry. He's never getting wrinkly. He can fight forever.
He is well lubed and ready to go.
Absolutely. So there you go. That's your Street Fighter 6 roster, everyone. Happy we're here for this.
Predicting it for 2022.
Yeah, exactly. We're working hard on it right now. We're listening to your suggestions. We're hard at work. Something GGPO. Something.
We are taking your suggestions and throwing them in the shredder, and they will be out when we want it to be ready.
Absolutely. All right, so let's transition back to away from the fantasy stuff and back to Cagy for a second. I know that you've been in and out of the FGC. Have there been any events that you've been able to make that you would call your favorite, or are there any events that you want to travel to in the future?
I have not been to any events, but I would eventually, when I get a passport, love to see Evo.
Okay.
I would love to be there because anytime I see anyone posting anything at Evo or watching it on Twitch, it seems like the most energetic, hype thing ever. And even not being that great, I won't even want to participate. I just want to be there and see. Because watching, like, anytime I've seen an Evo event, like, it's mind-blowing what these guys can do and how skilled they are. And I would love to be there for those moments, just once.
Absolutely. Yeah, Evo, as I've talked about before on this podcast, I believe with Jarpogo and with Bodied Novel, Evo is definitely the spectator event. If you want to go there to see high quality matches and like the spectacle of it all, Evo is definitely the place to go. If you want to go and get in 1,001 games and be around 1,001 games at one time, Combo Breaker is the place to go. Combo Breaker is so good. But yeah, no, Evo is definitely like that's one to make. Like that'll be an excellent show. You should get a passport. You should go next year when I'll be there.
All right,
just throwing it out there.
We'll meet there.
Excellent. I'm at this point. I think I'm meeting like 30 people out there, so I'll try my hardest. But that's okay. I'll be at Evo next year, so everyone can come by and say hi, and we'll have a good time, play some games.
Are you competing, or you just
hell yeah, I'm gonna compete. Absolutely. Nice. Absolutely, I'll compete. I will always compete at every FGSC event that I attend. I will never go to an event and not compete. At least try to make it out of pools.
It's try my hardest.
Look, I got to do what I got to do. I'm realizing now that the notes that I sent you for the questions are the wrong questions.
That's okay. I didn't read them anyways.
Perfect. Just what I wanted to hear. That everyone ignores my goddamn notes in the first place.
I took them under advisement.
That's all right. Goddamn it. So now I've lost my place where I was. So let's turn back to listener questions. Did MK9 ruin the concept of a story mode in future fighting games because it seems that fighting games now must have one?
I would no, because I would almost argue I've never played them, but I know I got friends who are huge comic geeks, and some of them played through Injustice 1. And I thought that was a really great idea. I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, I'm pretty sure that's also a story arc in the comics of when Superman just goes batshit crazy and creates, I think, like the Injustice League. I don't know. I'm not a comic person. Correct me again if I'm wrong. But I thought that was a good point where you said there was not a lot of character development in some fighting games. I thought that's a point of, I guess maybe there wasn't character development, but it's much seeing like a what if.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't necessarily think that every fighting game needs to have one, but I think it's important for people to want to gravitate towards your characters to make your characters interesting.
Agreed.
Even if you give like, I don't know, like what Overwatch does. Overwatch doesn't have a fucking story mode, but they put out those like 10-minute shorts that involve the characters, so you get an idea on them.
I think easily half of those shorts have made me cry at one point in time. I'm not afraid to say it.
Oh, absolutely. If you can watch the Bastion short and not cry, I don't want to talk to you.
If you do not cry during that short, you are not human.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That thing is beautiful. It's sad. Oh, I love it. It touched my heart.
Not a single word is said.
No, not once. It's so good. You know what's another good one for that? Oh my gosh, I don't want to pronounce it wrong. I think it's Bun?
Divas?
No, it's damn it. It's a Pixar short.
Oh.
Bow. Bow is the one. Bow is a short film by Disney Pixar. I don't believe there are any words spoken in it. Bow made me and my wife cry like little babies.
Is that the one with the paper airplanes?
No, that is a separate one. Bow is about this little dumpling. And this woman like crafts this little dumpling and it comes to life. And oh my god, if that one did not make me cry. Oh, that one's so good.
I believe it. To get back to the more of the question though,
yes,
of
the
concept. No. That's going because I had a good just off. Do you need a flesh out story mode? I agree. I think it's a two-part thing. What we're already talking about is you need to be able to relate to the character or have some sort of attachment to them. And I think the best way to do that, I think maybe stopping storylines entirely is the key, and doing the same things of what they've done in Tower mode or the arcade mode in Capcom or in Street Fighter, where you get to play that character through a series of battles, because really, who cares about the in between, and just see what happens at the end and what their decisions are, what made them do things. Right. I think that's the best way to establish a character without having to worry about whatever the hell Capcom did in Street Fighter V.
Yeah, and I think what Mortal Kombat has done recently, and the NRS games have done recently, to like not push character development, but at least give them a little bit of flavor and like an idea of who they are, are the character intros when you fight each other. Unique character intros like that used to be in Street Fighter 3 and like Capcom versus SNK 2 were just the fucking, I don't know, they're the best. Like Hugo and Alex like standing chest to chest before a match is excellent. Like it gives you an idea of like who these guys are, right? Or
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good point as well. Yeah.
or like when Sub-Zero comes on the screen and Frost comes on the screen and they have little banter about like Frost betraying Sub-Zero or like Sub-Zero abandoning Frost. Like, hot damn.
Absolutely. Or even just go back to Street Fighter 3, Ryu and Ken doing a fist bump before the fight. Like,
Yeah.
it's the small things that really tell a lot about their characters. That I agree. I think actually that's a very good way to flesh out characters as well in a fighting game.
Right. I mean, not to agree with myself, but I think that's the proper way. Not the proper way, but like a good way to do it. And another thing that like could be done, and Street Fighter V does this, and I never see anyone really talking about this because it's not really that big. But in the single character story modes, during fights, the characters will talk to each other, and they have distinct voice lines for what is like pertaining to the story.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. See, you fucking play the game and you don't even know. Go back and play like any of the characters' stories, and they have voice lines talking to each other like in the match. Like if you aren't like rushing in and like doing whack shit, like just trying to beat the computer as fast as possible. If you're like playing a match back and forth and wait a little bit, they will fucking like there's like voice lines and shit like that. It's incredible. So like why not instead of like just doing a little bit of that, like tucked away to the point where people like you who play the fuck out of Street Fighter V and don't know it exists, put that in every match. Like every match should have distinct voice lines, or like even if they get repetitive, whatever. But like if Abigail had 10 separate lines for every character in the fucking like in the game, and I know it's like 300 and some odd lines, right? And I know that like Xander Mobus probably requires a lot of money. I'll crowdfund the money. Like just fucking,
I don't think Abigail has 10 words, he says.
First of all, that's not true. He says he says vroom vroom and vroom and
Ha ha ha.
yeah, and ha 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 and high octane full tank and look, shut up. All right, but look, I'm just saying. But he has like his in-game like banter is shit, but his post-game banter, like telling Colleen that he has like antifreeze in his engine and shit like that, like, is the best. Like, he has such a good banter.
There's a lot of good post-match dialogue, as long as you don't have the one where you just constantly do like the most chirpiest thing ever. Like if you have that set to your default.
Yeah, like,
but,
those people suck.
Yeah. Other than that, there are some really good ones. I can't think of it. The Colleen one is a very good example.
The Colleen one is good.
A very horrible example is the trade between E Honda and Lucia, just talking about noodles. That's
well, I mean, see, I would be okay with that if they didn't include the fucking noodles in her likes. If that was just like if the noodles like weren't supposed to be something that we gave a shit about her, right? And they were just like, and E Honda was just like, hey, I like noodles too. You're like, oh, that's weird. Like they must have this connection over liking noodles, and you would make that like bridge in your brain. And you would go, that's something that binds these characters together. That's funny.
But even worse under those likes, do you know what Zeku's are? Do you know what his likes are?
I do not.
Wristwatch and bananas, I think it is. Oh, I'm like, what does that have to do with the character at all?
Oh my god. See, it's terrible. It's just...
Yeah. I'm like, that's even worse. Like, those shouldn't even be there, whatever.
Yeah. And, like, I know that it's hard to, like, to do these things, right? And to, like, make characters interesting and stuff like that, like, outside of their fighting styles. And for its credit, Street Fighter V has done very well with like giving a bunch of flair and flavor to the characters post move animation, which is super cool. But in order to draw people in to really, really gravitate towards your characters and to make them stick, it's very important to make those characters appealing. And so you have to find a way to make those characters pop out of the screen, you know, to make people want to be like them, to cosplay as them, to follow them, to want to, like, hope that they're in the next game, you know? Like, man, I, like, my daughter fucking loves like video games and stuff like that, but she would very much enjoy to see like Dom from Gears of War like into another game because she like gravitates towards Dom a lot. So like if he gets put forward into another game, she's probably going to be like, hey, I want to touch that game because Dom's character is so good.
I talked to the guys at Killer Instinct. They've put General Ram in there.
That's oh my god, tell me about it. You don't know how excited I was the day that came out. My Gears of War tattoo lit up the day that they announced Ram was coming. You don't even know.
Well, I started playing Killer Instinct again because they put Arbiter in there. I was like, I can be the Arbiter and just mash people as an elite? Yes.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
I finally made it. I finally made it. Oh, man. HDM Executioner wants to know, what fighting game storyline would make the best movie if 100% adapted, fully crazy BS and all?
Well, it's already been made. Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mortal Kombat like fighting game movie is the best one, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, Street Fighter was pretty good."
No.
Stop saying that.
No, like
rumors out there.
Y'all have been memed into thinking that it's good, but it like outside of the silly moments.
The best part of that movie was M. Bison. That's it. That's it.
Well, Raul Julia is a masterwork actor, and
he's way too soon. Too soon.
God bless that man. May he rest in peace. When I found out that he did that movie for his kids because his kids like Street Fighter, fucking tears in my eyes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Okay, so he took the role because his kids were playing Street Fighter, and he was like, "Oh, I was offered a role for this," and they wanted to see him in it. So his last role was for his kids in fucking Street Fighter. Oh, look, I'm telling you, fucking right now, I got goosebumps and I got tears starting to well up from my eyes. Fucking R.I.P. Raul Julia, you beautiful, beautiful man.
This is supposed to be a very fun podcast, I was told. I'm having too many emotions here. This is not fair.
Someone lied to you. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, that was deep.
The outside of M. Bison, the one scene from that movie that I'll remember for the rest of my life is there's a part where they're watching their supply truck roll down a hill on a camera.
Yes.
And then Zangief looks outside the tent and sees the truck, then looks back at the TV and goes, "Quick, change the channel," as if that's going to stop the truck from fucking rolling.
I saw that clip on YouTube a few weeks ago. Oh my god, I died laughing. That's the best thing ever.
Oh my god. That one, yeah. But if we were going to make a good movie...
another one.
Yeah, another one. I would have to think... Skullgirls, maybe? Like a Skullgirls anime fighter would be like really good. Or like a fighting movie would probably be really good.
I would almost want to say, if they didn't go campy like they did with the original Street Fighter movie, an Alpha series movie.
Yeah. Well, the Alpha series anime movie is fucking pretty good. Not gonna lie to you.
Well, they were talking about live action or just anything because I was thinking just live action. Based.
Oh, okay. Oh, got you. Okay. No. I was fully open to any and all ideas. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But if we're going strictly live action, yeah, I think they could do the Alpha series well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we were talking about animation, of course, any of the anime fighting games would do really well because they're already kind of based in that absurdity and that realm, right?
Right. So yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. But I guess adapting to real life is generally pretty hard because you need the over the top moves, right? But you also need to make it not look corny as hell, but also somehow tell a story. And I feel like with those three things, like make it look good, not make it look corny, tell a story, you only get to pick two of those.
Yeah.
Of those three, you get to pick two. You can have it look good and you can tell a good story, but it's going to be corny as shit, or you can be corny as shit and tell a good story and it's not going to look good. Like you have...
I think I'm okay with a fighting game movie be corny as long as it looked amazing and had a good story. Because, like, I mean, the whole premise behind fighting game stories anyways is a little redundant, don't you think?
Yeah,
couldn't someone just come over and just bop Bison with a pistol? Like, you're coming at me with fists.
Right.
Like, right?
Yeah, like, fuck, man. It's really, really hard to write a story that's not like, this fighter wants to be the best in the world versus the villain who wants to take over the world. Like, for a fighting game, like, that shit's hard. or especially for a fighting game movie. But if you did a fighting game movie that was like, this person wants to test themselves, which is like our bland, like everyday normal hero, but this person grew up in the shadows, like watching this person's success, wanting to be like them, and imitating them, and that person slowly starts to go crazy, and because they can't have the success fighting other fighters, they start using techniques that they don't properly learn on civilians and stuff like that, and like hurting and killing civilians. That person becomes like a maniacal character, right? And they start to grow their underworld and stuff like that because like this person's crazy, like he's just using these fighting moves. And because the dumb thugs don't know any better, they start to follow this person, right? But he can't fucking fight. And so eventually our normal blasé hero has to go take this person down. But he realizes, like, going through life with a singular focus of only trying to get better and fight other people, that he ignored the world around him and the impact that he had on the youth that followed him, that created this person in the first place. And then they fight it out because, we have to have a fight out. But, like, going forward, he, instead of looking for the strongest, he disciplines kids into, like, realizing the limits of their bodies. And I've just written a whole fucking fighting game movie. Capcom, pay me, and I can make Ryu finally interesting.
That's still a hard sell. Ryu is very white toast.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for letting me go on with my fucking rant there for a little bit, because I was just kind of spitballing as we were going along. So thank you for being along the path with me. But I do like the idea of I like the idea of a Cody courtroom drama. I would watch that.
Yes.
It's 12 Angry Men, but it's 12 Angry World Warriors, and it's a guy with a graph chart.
Oh no.
And it's Balrog trying to hold a bloody knife with his gloves, going, he had to have stabbed him this way. And Zangief is like completely like oblivious to what's happening because he's flexing in the corner that the walkers by on the street. So yeah, give me the.
I can't hold the knife. You're full of shit.
Exactly. And then the knife bounces off of Zangief, and they realize it was a fake knife the whole time, and the person that died was an M. Bison fake body, and Bison is still alive. And then he bursts through the ceiling, and they fight it out. And then at the end, Cody hits him with a hammer and says, "You're guilty," and the credits roll. There you go. Yeah. I've written 3 movies today. Someone pay me.
If only people were listening.
I know. Look, if only the higher-ups at Capcom were listening for all these excellent ideas that I'm spitting. Oh, man. At first, it sounded like Yu Yu Hakusho. I, know of Yu Yu Hakusho from it being on Adult Swim and me waking up at 1 in the morning and catching 5 minutes of it before I fall back asleep. But I don't know Yu Yu Hakusho. So maybe it imprinted in my brain, and that's why at the beginning it started to sound like it. Because I wish I knew more anime, but I really don't. The only anime that I know is Gundam Wing and Dragon Ball Z, Cowboy Bebop, and High Score Girl, which is the best anime.
Quick recommendation: Bleach.
Yeah. My friend Newman watches Bleach. He's not a religious Bleach watcher, but I'm sure he's watched the series over 2 or 3 times at this point. And he always tells me how good it is, and I just haven't been able to find time to sit down and actually watch it. Maybe one day I will, because I know he has the entire series on DVD. So maybe one day I'll borrow some from him and try to get down with it. But anime is always my weak spot, or not my weak spot, my blind spot. There we go. I keep confusing words.
Yeah,
it is what it is. All right, Cagy. So I have to know. You've been floating around. Do you have a favorite story that's come out of the FGC? I know that you're an avid watcher of a lot of things that happen. Is there a story that's come out of the FGC that really hits you in the heart, or one that you've really taken to?
In what sense?
Just I've had people before tell me that their favorite story has been the Sonic Fox versus Goichi storyline. Those dudes battling it out. Punk getting back on top of the Street Fighter V world this year. Bonchan finally winning his first Evo, stuff like that. Just any story from the FGC, or even a story for you personally. That's you getting better, you growing, you finding a community, stuff like that.
Oh, well, I guess maybe if I want to talk about pros real quick, I wasn't very familiar with any of the pros. Like, I've known some of the names now, Punk and all those guys, but I'm not too familiar with where they've been and where they are now.
That's okay.
So that doesn't really resonate. But I guess what was it Evo Moment 37 or 36 or whatever it was,
Yeah,
where
37.
Daigo did that crazy parry. Like, seeing that, I was like, that's an amazing feat
Yeah, the
of
parry heard round the
accomplishment.
world.
Yeah, like that was crazy. Maybe a personal story of mine. I think who's the lady you had on a few weeks ago? P-chan, I
Yeah,
think.
yep, P-chan.
Maybe just her listening to her story of like she started with Ed and just played Ed. She didn't character swap. She just stuck with Ed. And that night I was like, you know what, that makes sense because even that at that point I wasn't really doing a lot of Alex. Like I tried Alex once, got destroyed on him. Like nope. And so then I was really just like, well, this person just decided to stick with it and just really figure it out. I'm like, okay, so let's break it down. Let's remove what I already know what I don't do and don't like, and just find something and stick with it. And so far, it's been helping. Like just her story of just saying, figuring out the saves, figuring out what's punishable, what can your character do, what should you not do with a character, and just going from that really had inspired me to do better and get into the game more and do better. I mean, me personally, only an Ultra Bronze, still very new, but listening to those things and learning those things has really helped and really advanced me playing in the games and made it much more enjoyable.
Well, that's awesome, man. Listen, I'm sure Piran would love to hear it. Like, P-chan she's great, and I'm sure she'd love to hear your story. Like, I will make sure to pass it along, and I'm happy for you, my dude. I'm happy that this show has inspired you to get better, and that's fucking awesome. I'm super happy. Um, I'm very happy for you, and I hope you continue success. I hope one day you just beat the shit out of me to the point where I'm asking questions, going, "What just happened?"
If I can execute command grab off your Wega for maybe it'll happen.
But look, just know I'm always holding up. I'm never gonna get fucking grabbed.
Besides the first knockdown is always a parry.
Yeah, always. Look, you just gotta test the waters, make sure their meaties are on point. I played against someone the other day, and they were like, "That's bullshit. A parry shouldn't work against a perfect meaty. I just have to blame online." Like, my dude, maybe your meaties just aren't as fucking tight as you think they are.
Maybe go back to the drawing board a bit.
Yeah, like I guarantee if we go back and we fucking watch that replay, I definitely hit parry on my wake up and you were a couple frames late, and that's why you fucking lost. Oh well, it is what it is. Stabacron. Not to name names. But he knows. I'll see him at the local probably next month, and we'll talk about it then. All right, so I'm gonna do one last floor call to the chat before we start to get wrapped up here. If anyone has any questions for Cagy that you want to throw out, be it about character stories, about Alex, about his growth as an FGC competitor, or as an introduction to the scene, anything you want, throw it out at us right now. And Cagy, I'll have to ask you this. What is on your mind lately that you want to get off your chest? What's something that you've seen in the community or around video games or fighting games that you want to talk about and just get it out right now?
Okay, first things first. I really wish gaming community in general was less toxic. I mean, I do understand the age range is huge nowadays, and I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger in my teens, I was a little shithead and did dumb things and said dumb things. I understand that, but just learning from being a complete dick sometimes and being like, that's not the right way to approach anything. I just want people to like be more welcoming, be more supportive of each other in the community, in any community, whatever game you're playing, whatever genre game you're playing, be more inclusive. Because for me personally, and probably for a lot of people, gaming is a good way to get away from some crap in your life, and you don't want to try to escape that and then come into an even worse situation where you just don't feel like there's anything good happening. That's one takeaway. And the other thing I need to get off my chest is anyone who's playing Ryu and is trying to learn Ryu, stop taking V Trigger 2 and stop trying to parry me on every single time that you wake up. Because I'm just going to throw you all day. It'll be all day throws. I've already caught it. Stop it. Just stop.
Listen, two very fine points. Two very fine points. Everyone needs to be more inclusive. This is people's escape from the real life. It's a video game. Let's be a community. Grow together. Ryu, V-Trigger 2 is ass and stop using it.
Yeah, as soon as you pop V-Trigger, I'm like, oh, okay, Throat City, no problem.
Yeah, well, listen, if you see a Ryu pop V-Trigger 2, you just empty jump at him because they're gonna try to parry your empty jump in and you beat the shit out of them. So,
absolutely, it's empty jump throw all day because they're going to do it twice because they got panicked. Oh, he didn't press the button. Oh
no. Yeah, exactly. Body Novel in the chat says, "What's your go-to karaoke song? Is it something Canadian? I don't even know what that means."
Well, me being Canadian, is it a Canadian song?
No,
I imagine is what you'd ask.
I know. I just assume that you guys are still North America. You have most of our hits up there that we have down here. But I could be wrong.
Well, actually, fun fact about Canada, there's a law in place that we have to, on all of our radio stations, play an X amount of Canadian content, and that's not a joke or a lie or a fib or me trying to pull one over. That is something that has to happen on our public radio stations.
What?
Yeah, it's to try to promote Canadian content. I mean, I agree with it because it's too easy. There's so much more people in the United States as opposed to Canada, where it's so much easier to have more artists come from there and take over. Where it's very important to now look into the indie scene, look into these other scenes. Where are these Canadian artists? Who are the good ones? Let's promote them. Like who's everyone catching on to? Let's promote that. I agree with it. I think it's a great idea personally.
Okay, no, that's fair. To clear it up, I understand that Canadians have their own music, but the way that Body Novel phrased it was like, "What's your go-to karaoke song? Is it something Canadian, like the Canadian national anthem or some fucking anthem about maple syrup?" That's what I thought he was getting at, not like Canadians have their own unique style of music and like their own bands and shit. I understand that. I thought he was being
it's not Canadian, but you sing the national anthem every morning. It's by law in Toronto. But my favorite karaoke song, like what I guess I don't really go to karaoke's, but what song I would sing all the time or go to and sing? Ooh. You know what? Let's just double down on me being Canadian and go Nickelback's Photograph.
Son of a bitch. Okay, next question.
Well, disclaimer, I'm not okay. I don't hate Nickelback. I don't love Nickelback. I like some of their songs. That's it.
All right, hold on. So hold on. Let's go like to there really quick because I'm very curious. So the internet collectively hates Nickelback for no reason than they were told to hate Nickelback. I think Nickelback is fine. I think their music is to music what Ryu is to fighting games. It's just it's a 5 out of 10. It is what it is.
It's rock and roll.
Right. They're the Whopperito of music. It's music you can listen to if you want to. But like, how is the Canadian perception of Nickelback? Is that the same thing?
I think for the most, I think here's the thing about Canadians. As soon as somebody from our country gets famous and is put on the public spotlight, their actions all of a sudden reflect us. So somebody like Justin Bieber, I don't think anyone in the world likes him, but especially Canadians don't like him because that gives us a bad name. I think again, a lot of Canadians, you go talk to them, they don't like. I hate Nickelback. I still think it's that mentality of like the internet told you to hate them. Because one time I remember saying to my dad, like, I hate Nickelback. He's like, well, do you really hate them, or are you just saying that? I'm like, I guess I'm just kind of saying I don't really hate them. I guess I just don't really like their music, and some songs are okay.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair. Yeah, I don't know. I know everyone jumped on the hate Nickelback train for no reason other than like their music is just okay, and on the internet it's either you have to love it or hate it. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really have a problem with them, so I'm happy that at least in Canada they get a fair shake, like the same way. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's why they live in the States now, is because nobody likes them up here just as much. So.
Perfect. Well, I'm happy that they finally found the ground. Jazzy J wants to know, what are our thoughts on Smurf accounts in fighting games?
Oh, I don't care. If you want to go dish out the bucks to pay for a different PlayStation 4 account or a different account or another version of the game to go dominate people you're clearly higher above, that's your prerogative. I mean, what does that prove as opposed to maybe trying to make an account with no losses or whatever? I mean, that just says about your character, really. I don't care either way. I'll still learn if I'm playing a fighting game. I will still learn from someone who's kicking my ass.
Right.
But
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with Smurf accounts. Like, whatever. I guess if you want to make a new account and like race to Diamond or Master or whatever it is, like, the more power to you. Um, I talked about this on a podcast, on a different podcast a long time ago. And the person that I was podcasting with said, if you're learning a new character and like that's the way that you want to level up, like that's totally fine. That was their kind of opinion on it, and I kind of agree with that. Like, if you're picking up a new character and your footsies aren't that good and you're kind of like still learning, like if you want to make a Smurf account to grow with that character, I'm okay with that. But like I've never run into a Smurf account and been like, oh, this fucking asshole, like he's gatekeeping me. Like, yeah, fucking, like it is what it is. Like I'm either gonna beat her or I'm gonna lose him and I'm gonna move on to the next one. And like 3 fights later, I'll forget about it, so it doesn't matter to me.
yeah.
Roar Metal says, what's the one thing in tournaments that you wish you could add or get rid of at locals or big ones or big events?
Well, if you mean in person, that'd be a different thing than on streaming. Because if it's streaming commercials, I have no patience for waiting for things.
You know what? I will allow you to say like even include it on streams. Like you're allowed to say that too.
Well, then on stream, the ads. I mean, obviously you can't do that, but it's just
Right.
It is what it is nowadays.
I mean,
what do I want to see in tournaments? Or add or get rid of? Maybe add almost like a championship bracket. Like these were the top 4 from last year. They already have a seat. Now everyone has to fight to get to them to try to beat them to get the champion. Maybe switch it up a bit.
Interesting. Well, I like the open brackets that the FGC has. Like everyone fights everyone, stuff like that. But like, yeah, the idea of like an invitational that has like these are the champions, like fight to get to them, like Mortal Kombat style.
Yeah,
and then we go from there. Like that's an interesting idea.
The 4 kings of the fighting world.
Yeah, yeah, I'm okay with that. I would like to see. I know the community standard, and it's really hard to do this with like events like the Capcom Pro Tour and the Tekken World Tour and the Arc Revo World Tour and stuff like that. Like they have their specific set of rules. So at these big events, you can't really like mess with rule sets and brackets and stuff like that. It's kind of hard. But I would like to see an event that did a purely double round robin and see who came out on top, right? Like if we could do like a 40-person round robin where everyone plays everyone twice, and then whoever has the most wins at the end of it like is the champion. I would be very interested to see how that would go.
That is very interesting.
I would play the shit out of that.
That would be a very interesting way of doing it. Because you'd always get because there's sometimes I'll reference Mike Too Strong because when he was in Evo this year, you got like like 2 Dulcims, I think, and he's Geef main. He doesn't know really anyone else, and he just kind of got bodied. I think he said he was like 1 and 2 at the end of it. I think he said I might be misstepping.
I think you went 2 and 1 there because I think you finished 7 and 2 overall at Evo.
Yeah. But it'd be interesting saying, okay, you had those bad matchups, but now you have to play everyone else that maybe and you will destroy.
Right.
So that is a very interesting mindset of a tournament. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Maybe you like a double round robin or a round robin. I guess with 40 people would be a lot. So maybe limit it to 16. So that way, like the 16 people all play each other. Like I think it comes out to like you end up with 32 matches or some shit like that.
So it doesn't take like 3 days to do the tournament.
Yeah. But I think that would be interesting. Or if you had different pools of round robins that led to like a round robin of pools. So like these 8 people play each other. These 8, these 8, these 8, these 8. And then the champions of those went into a double elimination bracket. I think that would be pretty cool. Or like those would also go into a round robin, and then the top 4 would go into like a 4-way bracket or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think that would be interesting, or at least something to shake it up. Just like to give a different viewer perspective on like how tournaments are ran and stuff like that. Like even a fun exhibition event with some prize money or something like that, so it has incentive for people to try and give a shit. I think that would be super cool. But if there's one thing that I could get rid of, it would be people calling the ambulance on me when I'm trying to sleep. That would be. Next question. Actually, all right. I think we're actually out of questions at this point. I'll leave it open for a couple more seconds if anyone has anything else. But other than that, I'll let Cagy do some outros before we leave here today. Cagy, where can people find you on the internet?
You can attempt to follow me on Twitter at Cagy87. I don't post very often, but if you really want to follow me, you can. And if you want to find me in the fighting world, I'm trying to get better at Street Fighter V, so you might run across me in the Bronze League somewhere. It might be Silver soon. Who knows?
Ooh. Big. He's also a very avid Twitch watcher and follower. So if you see if you see Cagy pop up in your streams, you know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I have been Sriracha Flash. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, HomeDepot.com, Pampers.com, and Walmart.com at Sriracha Flash. This has been Some Random. You can find Cagy, like you said, at Cagy87 or on Twitch at Cagy87. Thank you all for listening. Because this is a Twitch show, we are going to go raid somebody. Whoever is streaming right now, we'll go find someone nice that's streaming. You know who is streaming? A4 Andre. We love A4 Andre. He's a good, solid dude. And so we will go say hi to him, and then we'll end the episode. So thank you, everyone, for joining in today. It's been a wonderful time. Cagy, you've been a wonderful guest. Thank you. And y'all go have yourselves a wonderful time, and I will see you on the flip side. Oops. There we go. Raid A4 Andre. Everyone go raid A4 Andre. Tell him that you love him. Tell him that Sriracha Flash sent you, because he's good people. And I will see y'all later. Bye.